Okay, this will be pretty interesting. First off, I'm not even 100% sure this is working. I think I might have to dial it up on my phone. Hold on. Everything's weird. I'll explain in a second. But we're here, and that's a start. You know, you got to start somewhere. If anyone is there, it is going to be a short stream because I'm on the road. Let's see here, and I do not have the time right now to do the full Monty. You know what I would really like? Let's see. All right. Well, I mean, it looks. Oh, geez, man, the whole top's cut off. Yeah. So, and the mic's all. Everything's wrong. All right. So anyway, bear with me here, everybody. Bear with me. The mic is different. Setup's different. I'm actually holding the mic now because I forgot my stand. I know. It's the little things. It's the little things. I don't can't see the chat. There we go. All right. Yeah, I got like pop-ups. You're gonna like everything's just weird. Snow, what's up? Good morning. I can hear you. Wait, you can? Okay, you can. Lime, what's going on? Mike is fine. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm like clipping on my end. It's a little hot. The mic shouldn't be this hot, so make some minor adjustments here. Nothing too crazy. Just pull that back a little bit, push that up a little. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, yeah. So like I was explaining, I'm on the road. So I don't have my setup. So it's just it's a very rogue setup here. It looks like if I'm looking at so I'm trying to look on my phone to see how the stream looks. Yeah, it looks like the chat's all messed up. Man, that's a crazy delay. It just popped up on the screen now. Yeah, so the chat's messed up. The top end's clipped. The bottom is, yeah, everything's wrong. But it's fine. It's fine because we're here and everything doesn't need to be right. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of low, this audio in comparison with others. Not complaining though, just what it is. Okay. All right, Hector. Very good. I can still boost it some more. I just don't want to I don't want to distort it, That's cuz that's going to sound even worse. But we'll do what we can. We will do what we can to make it better. All right. Yeah, so it's extra weird because I'm actually I only have one hand now because the other one's holding the mic. Long story. Oh boy, it's not here. It's loud and clear. All right, cool. All right, so let's fire it off because this one's gonna be short. I might not even make the candle. Um, let's just see what happens. Let's just get right into it. Let's get right into it. So we're not wasting any time here. I'll refrain from telling any really long stories that are totally unnecessary. So far, what we got today. 242 up. Well, 227. All right, it's coming down a little bit. We'll average it out at 228. All right, so 228, 230 up. 252 as the percentage, right? 2.5%. That's pretty good. Also, right, we're making new highs for the trend. 95.99 stopped just $1 short of the 9,600 mark. So big deal, right? Big deal. Next, on the bullish side, the next target 99.48. So that's pretty awesome, man. We're cooking. We are cooking with gas, as they would speak. So that is really good for Bitcoin. It slaughtered. I don't know if you can you see? Can you see this screen? I don't think so. I don't think it's set up to do that. Anyway, well, slaughtered on alt, right? The alts were getting hammered. You could probably see this, right? I don't know. You have to let me know if you see the list on the right. You should be able to, because that's all part of the same screen. So anyway, if we just went to whatever, let's just go to Binance and let's just take a look at this real quick. Like hammered. Walton, QSP, CMT, CIS, right? 10 and over. Wabi, RLC, Lun, Fun, Loon, Foon, Pundi, KMD, Mason, LRC, Land, One Chain, right? All just getting crushed, right? They just can't keep up with the with Bitcoin cruising, even though like 2%, right, doesn't seem like much. It slaughters some models. It really does. So the winners so far today: TNT, Yo-Yo, RCN, OAX. Really not real. I mean, like like not really a winner. XMR. Right, Monero was cruising for a little while, gave it all back, gave most of it back. BNB, yeah. So there was some action earlier. Things settled for a bit, and then it was kind of like Death Wave number 2 popped in, and things started to get a little nasty. I could tell the mic is not good, but thanks guys. Thanks for bearing with it. All right, let's say overall 24 hours, right, since the last time. Well, we didn't stream yesterday, so that was another road day. Sorry. And again, I'm away from my setup, so I'm hoping to be back by the weekly candle. We'll see. All right, so TNT crushed it, right? 65 up, 45 of that back. Man, Vibecoin, crazy. 32 up, 77 gave back. PHB, 30 up, gave 40 back. AST, I'm not familiar with AST, but AST 30% move up, gave 100% back. So that's more pumpy dumpy. Pundi showing up, representing with 25% up, gave half of that back. So still 12.5 for the day. I mean, who's complaining with that? RCN did good, DGD, BTT, Yo-Yo. So a couple of the oddball alts, right? Like Yo-Yo and Dent, Engine, right? DGD back in the mix again. DGD's been, out of commission for a long time. So seeing them back in there. Look at even Hot, right? Look at Hot's terrible trend, posting 12% gains, losing 50. So really, it's 6% gain. Right? In the midst of this bloodbath that we see on the other side, right? Let's go to the down move. Let's go to the aggressive down move here. Wow, 24% down AST. TNT, even though it had a big move up, right? Still a big move back. 20 down. Pondy. A lot of the same characters, really. So what gave so much, right, gave a lot back, still posted overall gains for the day. So really, it's been an interesting day. It's been a very interesting day. Let's go back to the charts. Let me see here. Yeah, a couple of the familiar faces, right? Neo struggled for a little while. Found support again, is trying to push back up. This is the 4-hour chart for Neo. Let's see, ZRX tumbled, right? Found temporary support about a few hours ago, trying to maintain pushback, get back in. Could be a retest on the channel, on the pattern break. So if that's a retest, expect further downside. The last time, though, when we got that test, it ended up crushing through it. So you have to be careful for that. BitTorrent, right? BitTorrent had a really good setup. I really liked it. I even put it online. Look at that channel, right? So well respected. And then we even posted like a solid, I think it was a 4% gain or something right here. Let's double check. 272 posts. So with the wick, it was probably it was above 3. I want to say it was close to 4%. So it even looked like everything was going right. It found support here temporarily on the hourly chart, and then just lost it. Just gave out. Decided to post a lower low, so not good. Bat's been cruising. Bat's been very interesting to watch. It has a series of decent moves that are somewhat not regulated, but somewhat anticipated, I guess you could say. And then it just does some wild stuff, like right where you think it's supposed to come back up, make a higher high, it just doesn't. So the markets have been they've been interesting, right? One was doing some solid moves, broke away from this. I guess you could call it a long-term channel. The freaking coin is still 5 days old or whatever. So broke out of a bigger channel that it was holding on to for a while, smashed it, started moving back up to make the moves, and just dumped, hesitated, and dumped again. I mean, it's you can't win on some of these. Monero was cruising for a little while. Look at this huge gain, right? Gave it all back, slowly worked it back. Another huge gain, right? This time it gave structure back. So this is fine if it holds, but we could see, lower high, lower high, lower high, paint that line down, push this line across, and now you got a descending triangle. So descending triangles typically would break to the south side. Unfortunately, it's not really a pennant. If it was a pennant, you'd be looking at further upside. But technically speaking, this is lower than this. So yeah, you have some type of angle, but that wouldn't be a pennant anyway. It just wouldn't be a pennant, right? Now you could take this guy and these guys and draw yourself a bull flag. But the time we have to be honest with yourself and say is it really a bull flag? You know what I'm saying? You can make up whatever you want, but if it's not going to help you down the road, then what's the point? I used a Pundy wallet in real life business. Awesome, Miguel. That's awesome. PHB BTC. Yeah. So let's pull up a chart or two here. Let's get rid of this because it just takes up way too much screen space. All right. So let's see. PHB BTC. This is one-handed now, guys. One-handed. All right. Wow. There's just there's not a lot of history on here. PHB, that came out about a month ago or so. I remember this one. So let's see. Basically, we could say from launch, right? It's just been losing. No real sign of anything good outside of just one decent candle. What you got in that one candle, you probably got accumulated in these three, and you ended up, look what happened, right? You just gave it all back anyway. So, unfortunately, with stuff like this, there is no support, right? It hasn't created any support yet, except for price action that's above it, right? So if you're painting lower lows, there's nothing to really go by. You try to use fib extensions, but if price hasn't respected anything yet, because it's too early, then it's kind of what's the point, But we'll see. We'll play around with it for a minute. Let's see what we got here. Let's tack in our 1-2. So pretty far away from a 1-2 if we're going to pull an extension for bottoming period. If we're going to call this flattened out zone an area of interest, I would get on board with that. I wouldn't put any faith into it, but I would at least visually watch it and see how it reacts to this price. It seems to like it. And that price would be 184 ballpark area. So let's say for educational purposes, let's say that we were going to hold 184 as our temporary support, right? We'll push that up there like that. In order to make this move your support, right, you need to know what your next move is on the resistance side. So if we're looking at just the history that we have, which is this right here. So we'll call this a like a downward descending triangle, right? This red slope down with our flat bottom, double bottom break, push to the downside. Ended up losing. Now, did we lose the right amount? So that's a 22 drop, right? So from here, if we were to fulfill the pattern prophecy, which is just another way to try to find bottoms when you don't have a bottom, right? So that's all I'm trying to do here. So we had a pattern, should have gave us 22 on the downside if it played out, not 22. It should have gave us this distance on the downside. It gave us a 28% drop is what we're looking for. So there's still room to go on pattern. And that would bring you to about 163. So it would be a total of 28% drop. Now, we also have a channel, right? So we have this resistance, 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 support, 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 right? So I know this stops kind of like, let's get this out of here for now. And let's pull this one away for now, right? So if we looked at this as a channel, similar to what you see on the screen right now, right? We could probably pull that back. Like that's legit, right? That's fine. It's not as pretty, right? But it works, right? We're clipping out a bunch of these guys, then we're clipping out a bunch of these guys. It's okay. It's okay. It's just an idea. So support to the downside, push up off the top, right? Push back down for more support, right? So now it's not verified yet, but it's an idea. And then you push back up to the downside, you got rejected pretty hard. So I would actually mark this level. You know, you pull the little horizontal guy here so you can look left at the same time. And I would say, does this level make any sense? Like, did it stop here for any particular reason? Is it something I missed? Is that something we're going to have a reaction with, you know, down the road? So you look, and it's like, all right, well, when price was falling, right, we did find support right here for 2 days. What are we on here? Yeah, daily. Yeah, for 2 days. And then we springboard off of it, push up. We found resistance. We came back down to where? The same spot, right? Support again for another 2 days. Tweezer bottom. Push up, another point of rejection. At this point, you have a valid trend, right? So on the upside, you got valid resistance. 1, 2, 3. It's been verified. You're good to go, right? That's definite resistance. Next candle up, resistance. Next candle, resistance. And then you broke lower than your pattern, came back up for a retest, and smashed it, right? So now you know the pattern's valid. The uptrend line is valid. So this is your only valid line right here. And we used it again right here. Knocked this down. So you have confluence right there. Now, you could probably spread this out here to have it make a little bit more sense, so it breathes a little bit. And look what happens when you do that, right? Remember, I'm using anchor point 1 and my anchor point 2, my more obvious anchor point 2. Instead of the swing fail anchor, right, I'm using the more obvious anchor. And what happens when I do that? It stops it out almost on the nose, right? So it makes sense, right? This is a good spot for rejection. That's great. So now we have our resistance line. Now the battle becomes break and close above this resistance line, right? That's essentially what you're looking for. Using your temporary support, which is this right here, right, as sort of like a guideline. So as you approach this, right, you want to be able to see support regained, confirmation of reversal to the upside, and then really you're only going a couple percent because you expect to get rejected right on this line again, right, until you break this larger channel now, either to the upside or to the downside. If you do break to the upside and you're within this region, right, south of this red horizontal, right, then you're looking at more resistance again right off the bat. All right, so it's just a few things to look at for, what is this, red pulse, that's the name. All right, so for RPH, if, right, you get reversal on the downside though, right? Let's say you get reversal right here and you are able to push it up. Yeah, you're still, that's a 25% gain. I mean, that's a huge play. So don't take it lightly as, this looks like it's a waste of time. Why would I even get in once I found confirmation? Let's say you find confirmation right here on the second candle, right? And you're right here and you bring it up to that level. This would have to happen 1, 2, 3 days from now, just based off of where we are. So let's say it happened today, right? On the next candle, right? And let's say we brought that all the way up to the top. Let's say we pushed down, we didn't get in, we got confirmation, yada, yada, yada. Let's say we get in right here, like body height of these guys. It's 22%. That's great. All right, that's a great play. Great play. Yeah. So that's it's a good play. It's something to look at. Very, very, very little history. I don't know what the volume is like for this particular coin. We could put the volume on and see what we see. I mean, this is really the best volume you've had since the first 4 days of launch. So very hard to gauge anything like this on whether that's going to continue for the next day or whether it's simply just a pump, push out for some decent gains and then walk away. So we don't know. 758, everybody, 758. So it looks like we are going to make the candle close while I'm still here. So that is good. So we can run out some numbers in a second. Let's make sure our 24 candle is up. Yeah, so a minute 32. Let me scope out chat Aroni for my fams over here. My famery. Let's see, are we still buying the LTC dips? I never was. Hello, you started earlier, but here I am. Thank you. Levier. So, Novel. Or Novell. Is it Oliver or am I saying it wrong? You can tell me if I'm wrong. I got no problem with that. Used to be PHX. Oh, so that was PHB? Used to be PHX? Interesting. All right, I remember PHX. I didn't know it was the same. They just had a rebrand? Interesting. All right, yeah, so it does have a history. All right, cool. Yeah, that's what makes it super annoying. So to do that right, we're not going to do it right now. To do it right, you would have to overlay your original PHX. I personally get the weekly and the daily major historical support resistance, right? And then I just apply those to the new chart. That's all. But as far as like fibs and regular price action and stuff like that, I kind of leave that alone. But I would certainly look for an area that it found support during that lower area right there. Like if you had a solid weekly support line, I would use it. All right, so what are we doing here? Opened up at 92.77, hit a high of 95.99, low 92.10, closed it out 95.31 for a total gain of $253 plus 2.73%. More importantly, right, candle close up above, right, our previous high, right? So that's the big ticket item right here for that particular candle. That does make things very bullish for a very large amount of people. So keep that in the back of your head because the next target for most people, I would imagine, is going to be 99.48. Being that you are literally a candle away, judging by the latest price action, that is a very real possibility we could see that tonight. Now, remember, the last time we hit a higher high, we dumped a fair amount, nothing abusive, but a fair amount, and we tested previous structure high again, right? And then we had another day of bullish before we finally broke out. Nothing is off the table, all right? Oh, man, I don't want to do that. Breaking south right now, or at some point in the next 24 hours, and coming back for a double bottom in this zone is not unheard of. But this is at least a good indication that we have a pretty good idea where the heads are at, right? Where the money wants to be. The money wants to be up in the 11.7, 11.6, 11.7 zone. In order to get there, you got to make some moves, but you're going to take a couple lumps along the way. It's just how it is. Far better than these highs, right? Remember, just not that long ago, you'd make a high for the trend, and then you would dump pretty severely before pushing back up and getting a swing fail, and then having to deal with another week of trading before you got another higher high. So that was only, a month ago, basically to the day. So, keep that in mind. We were extremely lucky on the bullish side to get this move right here. Very impressive. Now that you stalled for a minute and you pushed up to make a higher high, right, there's no telling on how far it will actually go. We can reasonably assume, right, that if our next target is 99.48, that should be a fairly easy target to hit. All right, there's not a whole lot of junk in between here and 10K. Hitting that 10K mark would, it's of course, like everything, right? It's one of two things are going to happen. If it hesitates on 10, right, pulls the coil back, I think the next stop's 11.7, barring really anything too dramatic, right? It should kind of just go there with reasonable ease. If it feels like 10K came too quick for some of the big time accumulators, I do believe that they will try to push it back to a fairly reasonable level, but you're not going to be happy with it. Let's put it that way. Follow this red trend right here, and if you were to come back down there, let's say in a few days, you're looking at 85.24, and that'll put a hurting on a lot of people, but it won't kill them. And at the same token, it allows the big time players to now accumulate, right, for basically a $1,500 discount at that 10K mark. So don't, understand the trend, right? But be ready for everything, right? Tight stops or loosen them up if you trade a little less capital. But this way you can still ride the trend without having any fear of trading it. But be aware that people, be aware how makers like to make money, right? And that is one way they make money is they pull in the liquidity to get everybody off the sidelines. They push new money in. And now they have people that want to buy because they've created bullish sentiment. So now the floodgates are open and everybody down below is trying to buy. So right, if you go to sell, right, you have a lot of buyers on the other side that are willing to buy it at higher prices because everybody's afraid tomorrow it'll be 20K and they want to make sure they get in at a good price. So when the liquidity fills, right, that gives the sellers somebody to sell to. And you would say, well, why would you sell at 10K when everybody's buying? Well, because it's a liquid, right? And when that many people are buying, right, you create this like euphoric, like the herd, right? The herd mentality, right? So it's not just the traders and the traders, right? You start picking up some people from the sidelines. You get some them retail cats start rolling in, and they're like, oh hell yeah, I remember trading Bitcoin, 2 years ago. I'm back. And then the big push comes, right? The big push, the big sell off. So when that happens, right, they wipe the books. You can market sell very easily. If you have a large enough pool of sellers and the books on the buying side are liquid enough but still thin and spread, what happens is you push that price and it'll go down $100 in a second. And then that sets off a bunch of triggers, right? So you set off all of the stop losses, right, for all of the longs. You get all the FOMO people and the panic sellers, right? It's like, catastrophic. We're down $200, $300, $400, and literally 5 minutes went by, Then you'll get the market sales. You'll see the whole screen just flash. The book is, poof. All of a sudden it's $10 here, $10 here, $10 here, $10 here, and next thing you know, we're down to 8,500, and then everything stops, and everybody starts buying again. It's a very simple way for people with mega bucks, to get $1,500 per Bitcoin and do that within a day. You know what I mean? Right? So basically they buy it for 85, they push it up to 10, they push it all the way back down to 85, they buy more at 85, they push it back up to 10, they sell it at 10, yada yada yada, and that's just how the market works. So know that, understand that, and then but be prepared for everything. Right? So if there's no hesitation at 10, right? And it just pushes up to, my next target would be like 11.7. All right, so look for those numbers. If we head down, don't freak out. Remember that a 382 in a strong uptrend is a respectable and healthy pullback, and we didn't even get that yet, right? So think about that for a minute, because when it does happen, people are going to go freaking nuts, and it's just a pullback, right? It's nothing crazy. So just look at the chart, right? Just look at the chart, and you're like, all right, yeah, came up, a little pullback, right? Came back up, pulled back over here. So that, mark it off the list. Okay, check, good. We pushed up here, we came back down here. So where's this? Okay, this is this first leg right here. All right, so check that off the list. Push back up again. And we'd imagine that the next spot we come down, if we follow suit, 1, 2, 3, pullback target area is around 84.12. On the high side would be 85.44. Just going by structure, right? Never mind the fibs. Don't worry about the 236, 382, the 618, right? Just talk structure for a second. And if you did push up, you made a higher high, you came back down right here. What'd you test? You tested this area of accumulation, right? The big swing high before the low, right? You push back up again. You made another higher high, right? For the local trend, you pulled back. Where'd you pull back to? Right back to previous structure, right? So 1, 2, 3 would be your next one. You push back up again wherever we stop, even if it's 11.7, 12.5, 15, whatever, right? You should still be coming back structure and coming back over here. So, putting buy orders in at, 8,500, 8,522, right, is not a horrible idea, although I can't give financial advice. If we were to see a higher high and it starts pulling back, that would be my first target area of support, right? We're going to come back. It would totally make sense to come back, test that level, and then go on, right? Continue the trend to make higher highs. Right, so anyway, so that's Bitcoin. So that's good. We actually were able to cover that. We had enough time. Very, very, very nice. Let me scope this chat real quick. A couple of things happening with them, like trading competition, and they're launching and staking. All right, so that's for PHX. They're doing a competition. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So we'll do one more chart, and then that'll wrap it up for the night. Yeah. So, but we're good. We covered Bitcoin, so we're straight. So Hector, it sounds like that's what PHX is doing. All right. So if we think about the last competition coin, I think it was one, right? Harmony won. And it made substantial gains, right? It did very well during the competition period. Volume gained like exponentially. So yeah, competition coins are good. The market right now is really weird because Bitcoin is approaching these zones that people are hyper focused on. So you got two different mindsets playing out. One mindset wants to be in Bitcoin to ride the trend, and the other mindset is like, stay the hell away from Bitcoin because this thing could dump at any second. And then it's like, well, I want to trade some alts to get more Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's on the rise, so I really want to trade like Bitcoin paired alts that are outpacing Bitcoin, but at the same token, when I go to sell and Bitcoin's dumping, my trades are destroyed. So it's like, everybody's head is in a completely different spot right now. So you just have to be aware of the overall market. Let's see. So, and if so, what would that mean? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the first part. Oh, are we at the 382 fib from the high in December 17 and the low of December 18? The overall, the global. I need a new chart then. Let's see, BTC, USD. Let's just pull up whatever Finex. I don't think I marked this one up to death just yet. Oh wow! Look, Cinco de Mayo. That's the last time we use this chart. So let's see the 382 global. I had this all mapped out, but of course I forgot everything. All right, well let's get an estimated number here. We'll call it 3224. So 382 on the global is 9460, right? So we like literally, at least on the Finex chart, that was the reason for resistance, right? So let's see. I want to make sure that it's actually. It's just it's not like on here properly. Come on, buddy. Just go up one more candle. That's why you have a magnet. There you go. There you go. All right, so the proper number, are we on the low here? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, the proper number is 95.85. All right, so, yes, there you have it. Bang. All right, and then you have 11.5 is the 5, but the 5 is, I don't want to worry too much about the 5, but we already have a historical at 11.7, huge area of importance right here, and then looking at 13.520 for the 618. So yeah, these retracement levels are, extremely important, and that's exactly where we are right now, and it would be a fantastic place for most people to take profits or for it to come back and test structure. So it's, every now and then you just got to pull up a chart and look at a macro view, right? Delete all your drawings and what is this crap? Delete all your drawings and just get an overall idea on just, what are you looking at, right? Well, what is the chart telling you in so many ways, right? So I was looking at something like this earlier, and I put together not a thesis, but an idea for an area that would make a lot of sense for price to be at. And it ended up being somewhere over here. And I was like, oh, well, that doesn't really work. Not for this, but it would work if we pulled it back, right? And did a pretty traditional harmonic pattern with it, with basically a swing fail. And then you push up to the downside, you push back up with a measured 382, 618, 1618 move, and that would get us back to higher highs, but it would it doesn't look pretty when it happens. But yeah, that was a great point right there. My other chart is so hammered right now that it's hard to see that 382. But I think on my MEX chart it's not 95.85. It's definitely a different number. But yeah, good point. And this is great right here. So that's great. That 382 is important. It is a pretty major factor to get over that. It is not surprising, right, to jump back and forth between the 382, 236, and then push up to the 5618. So if you did go 382, 236, you'd be looking at 7150. 7150 sounds like, end of days for most people. It's really not. So, don't worry about it. If it happens, it happens, right? We'll just plow through it. If it is, and if so, what does that mean? Yeah, so I think I just explained that. So reclaiming the 236 was huge, right? Bigger than probably any other fib, because of the severity of the whole move, right? So reclaiming the 236 is the first time you've said to price action, hey, I did it. You know what I mean? This is my first rung of the ladder to get back my 100% that I lost, or whatever it was, right? So if you notice right here, right where price did something, right there, right? That's reclaiming the 236 for the very first time. And not only that, a good push up and a retest. Proper support. It's about the best looking flip you could ever see, right? So price comes up, smashes, drops, right? Crushes, pulls, retest, flip, push up, roll back, higher low, and a continue trend. Okay? So it's ugly. You got a big M over here. You came back down pretty low over here. But, you didn't lose the 2-3, right? That's huge, in my opinion. So regaining that is the very first step in getting back to your 1. And your 1 in this case is whatever, 19 and change. We'll call it 20K. So that, I think, is hyper important. Every other fib after that is important because it represents a Fibonacci level, and to which those Fibonacci levels we do like to respect. And that's why we trade them. So generally speaking, if this wasn't within trend already, the 382, you would short, right? Because you would take profits, expect that it would push back down a little bit. So you can either push it back down to structure, 81.77, right? Or you push it all the way back down to 2-3, regain support again, push back up, and you ping pong through the fib levels until you're back to your 1, and then you got to start playing extensions like a 1.2, a 1.4, a 1.6 in order to get target areas, right, for what is the next move. But yeah, that's really important. So good eyes on that. Very good eyes. Good work. All right, so we spent a little extra time on that, but that's fine. No worries. We like to do it. Hector says yes. All right, so that's PHX on the Binance DEX. All right, so the competition is probably very similar to Harmony One, where you had to hold, 10 BNB on the DEX overnight, at least at UTC 0, but you had to trade and accumulated buy and sell volume, right? For one, it was 100,000 one tokens, right? So you could literally just buy 50,000, right, and sell 50,000 like a second later, and then you were qualified, right? You moved 100,000 accumulated one tokens, and as long as you held, at that time it was 10, so as long as you held 10 BNB on the DEX overnight in the UTC, then it was a win, right? And you would have a big pool, and everybody who qualified would get a percentage of that pool. So let's say 1,000 people all qualified, and they were giving away 1,000 Harmony One tokens. Each one of those guys would get one token. And then Binance at that time, they also decided that they do a BNB additional, right? So everybody split whatever the hell it was, like 600 BNB a day for 5 days, or I don't know, whatever. So that was the competition. I don't know what the PHX competition is. I would have to look it up, and we're not going to do that right now. It's something that you can very easily do. Go on Binance, click on the competition button, and just see what they tell you. All right, but that is unfortunately going to wrap it up for tonight. We actually got a lot more time out of it than I thought we were going to, so that does make me happy. Again, I'm still on this rogue weird setup, so things are not normal, but we're looking at next week to normalize, be back at the normal setup, but this will have to work for now. So I appreciate you guys coming out and hanging, talking crypto, looking at some charts, and we will reconvene hopefully tomorrow, same place, same time. Till then, I want to see you guys on the exchanges, and happy trading.